What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Fresh Fringe Toast. My name is Bobby D. Happy Friday to you. It is April Fringe Day. I'm not going to try to fool you guys in any way. I'm pretty stoked that the weekend is here. We got a real good show lined up for you tonight. But first, let's talk some housekeeping. Rachel ain't here tonight. The reason for that is she is going with the Spirit Realm Network to the Winchester House in San Jose, California, to do an investigation there. Tickets are on sale now. You have to go to spiritrealm.net in order to get those tickets. So just the live stream is tomorrow night from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Time. So over there, it's like 6 to 9. So that's not a very long time, but I'm sure that they'll have a good time. Hopefully, they'll get some evidence. Seen many shows go through that home, and it ranges. It ranges from we don't get any activity at all the way to like they almost want to run out of the house screaming. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I don't know. I know legend, folklore wrapped around it is that Mrs. Winchester was left this home after her husband passed away. Her husband being the inventor of the Winchester, or being the owner of the Winchester Rifle Company. And after his passing, to deal with her grief, and to ward away the one other folklore wrapped around it is that she continued construction on this building until her death, to try to ward away spirits of those who had died due to the use of the Winchester rifle. So lots of people believe that this house is probably haunted. I think it's probably just a maze. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell you that for certain without actually going there myself, but especially because like any of the investigating groups that were to go over there, I don't know how much I would I put stock into a highly produced show. The one show that I do trust actually came out without any evidence at all. Trust as far as evidence goes. I still like them all. Don't get me wrong. I like all the shows. But I try to separate, excuse me, I didn't mean to hit the mic. Try to separate those that are for entertainment purposes and those that are for the science behind it. Having a very clear mind about that kind of thing and being able to discern what you're seeing from it being a produced show to people just trying to collect evidence is pretty important. But anyway, we got lots to get into, so I'm gonna quit yammering and go ahead and play this intro. How about it? Well, so before we start getting into the stories from this week, I do want to go ahead and point you guys in the direction of a podcast that I've really come to enjoy a lot. Just a quick shout out to Oh No, Ross and Carrie. You can go to ohnopodcast.com. That's OHNO podcast.com and check those guys out. Their latest episode is about Linda Moulton Howe, and how she was kind of easily swayed by Carrie, one of the hosts of this show, who has been pen paling with her, really catfishing this poor lady for a while now, but only to the point to say, it doesn't take much for this lady to kind of believe that you are a legitimate source. Her communication being that, she's got a connection with someone in the FBI, and they've leaked all this information to her, Carrie, and um, Linda Moulton Howe is eating it up like it's delicious. Um, but anyway, besides that, they talk about a wide array of topics, from conspiracies to paranormal topics. Same as our show. So there you go. Oh no podcast.com. Go check them out today. That is not a paid promotion. That's legitimately a show that I like to listen to. First story up tonight. I thought, when I seen the headline, I was like, they ain't no way. They ain't no way. They ain't no way they're trying to pass this off as legitimate. Maybe they are. Maybe this is a joke. I don't know. Hey, Jennifer, how you doing? So these Oxford scientists have, quote unquote, created a working ghost trap out of floor tiles. So I'm going to put this in a synopsis of how I understand this. Their knowledge, their theory is that because ghosts can't pass through floors, they can pass through walls, but because ghosts can't pass through floors, that they would make an entire box made out of floors. The reason they think that ghosts can't pass through floors is because of the tales of hearing footsteps coming down the hallway, or, coming down the road, gravel, dirt road. You hear the crunching of the gravel behind you, or there's dirt, dust plumes up coming down the street at you. Well, their thoughts are that if we make a box made entirely out of floor tiles, the ghost cannot escape. Cannot escape. So they built a contraption, an entrapment, a ghost trap out of floor tiles. So there's one on the bottom, 4 sides, and then the one on top had a trigger device that was connected to a REM pod. REM pod being something, a REM pod, and we've talked about this on our YouTube channel, is a junior theremin. This is a junior theremin. The weird sound that you hear on Star Trek, and most recently, it was used in the theme song for the Disney show, the show on Disney Plus called Loki. It's a Marvel series. So the theme song for that was made from a theremin, which is an instrument that you don't pluck anything. It's not a woodwind. It's not a string instrument. You essentially just wave your hands around this staff that has generating from it an electromagnetic field. And as you interrupt that electromagnetic field, it creates various tones. So what they've done with this box, let's get back to the box. I'm a big fan of boxes. I like boxes. I like tables. Excel spreadsheets are boxes in essence. I like storage containers and whatnot. But this box, the lid on it was connected to a REM pod. And if something interacted with that electromagnetic field, interrupted it, then the top would slam down and shut it, right? They put an EM pump. We've also talked about that on the channel. EM pumps are ridiculous, but to use it in the way of this entrapment device, they put it inside of the box, to attract spirits. So the spirits come because they're attracted to the electromagnetic frequency. They interact with that electromagnetic frequency, and then boom, they're trapped inside this box made out of floor tiles. Pretty bizarre theory, but I have to applaud the genius of it, or I don't know, the mischievous nature of it. I feel like is more so the thing that I'm a fan of in this, especially on this day, April Fools. But what do you guys think? So I'll read a little bit of this. A team of scientists working out of the Oxford-based preternatural natural preter P reader. What? These Oxford-based science laboratory have created a working ghost trap with the highest storage capacity yet, using nothing more than regular floor tiles. The team re-examined thousands of historic ghost cases from allegedly haunted locations all around the world. Their aim was to look for patterns in the reported phenomenon to help them find a way to hold a ghost permanently. A tricky task when many of these historic reports contain accounts of ghost walking through walls. Project leader Professor Sabrina Spooky Casper. This lady's name is Casper, so she ought to know a thing or two about ghosts. Said we research through thousands of reports of ghosts looking for a correlation in the descriptions of the reported activity. We were essentially searching for ghost kryptonite. Excuse me. We're lax here. This does not. We ain't getting paid for this right now. So I'm gonna have a drink. We got an hour together. Might as well relax, huh? Star Trek. The theme of Star Trek was made from that. Yes, Star Trek was the theme for Star Trek was made. The original Star Trek from the 1960s was made with a theremin. I don't know. That's probably a bad interpretation of that sound. Professor Casper explained, we tested the early versions of our entrapment technology by constructing the all-important holding chamber out of various materials, including such impervious metals as lead, but they failed to contain the spirit's energy. But the haunting reports pointed us in the direction of flooring. How did they know that it failed to contain the energy? That's more important than anything else that they're saying here. Anyway, based on the numerous and overwhelmingly common description of ghosts walking on flooring and ghost reports, the scientists realized that ghosts can't pass through floor. So they constructed a new version of their ghost trap primarily using floor tiles. I mean, great conclusion. Since ghosts are invisible and weigh nothing, the trap can comfortably imprison hundreds of unwanted ghosts and still be lightweight enough to carry around during ghost hunts. When turned on, a high energy electromagnetic generator starts up which oscillates 18.98 hertz. This is known as the ghost frequency. That's probably the most valuable piece of knowledge here. What's the ghost frequency? Again, 18.98 hertz. This is known as the ghost frequency. Once up to full power, the top of the box opens, allowing the ghost to sense the energy source. They are then lured into the box to feed off its energy. At the moment the trap detects a drain in the EM field, the box lid, which is also made from floor tiles, closes, trapping the ghost inside. Once the EM generator powers down, the ghost will quickly lose its energy, allowing it to be easily transferred and held indefinitely in a custom made laser containment storage facility. Although the team now have a fully working version of their trap, it wasn't an easy journey. In 2015, the project was destroyed by a fire that swept through the workspace. Professor Casper said, "We've now reduced the risk of fire spreading by wallpapering the lab with copies of the Crying Boy painting." Hmm. I think I might have just been punked by the Higgy Pop people. No, but anyway, I thought that was a very interesting story, even if it wasn't just. I think that's fantastic. You know, they have a slight advantage over Iggy Pop in that they don't cite any information that they share over there. So, however, what I find over there, I find on other sites too most of the time. Didn't find this story anywhere else, but I do find that in other places. And then often those places have sites. They cite their work. That's pretty important. Um, it gives credibility to what you have to write. Maybe that's not what they're going after. Who knows? Okay. So next up on the list, we've got this river troll humanoid observed and photographed in coastal Mississippi. There's a link in the description if you guys want to go take a look at these photographs. A coastal Mississippi resident believes that they encountered a river troll while on their houseboat. They took a photo and described what they witnessed. What is this creature? About 6 years ago, 2015, my family lived on our houseboat on the river in a small town in coastal Mississippi. We were on the deck one evening, looking across the river. The tide was low, and you could see well into the woods. Maybe 25 yards from us, something bent down near the water. I went and retrieved my binoculars and took a closer look. It was a pinkish tan with bulging eyes, funny looking ears, two arms and two legs, and what appeared to be horns coming out of its head. It had a short, round body drinking from the shore. From what I saw, I would swear it was like a troll. It was devil ugly. I took my phone out and took a picture. To this day, anyone I show it to swears it's a river troll. Now, living on a houseboat, you see a lot of creepy stuff in the swamp. Also, there would always be trees or logs laying across the ditches of our 1,000-foot driveway in the middle of the swamp, as if something put them there to cross the deep parts. You couldn't walk up or down without that eerie feeling of being watched. And it wasn't just me. Anyone who came out our way felt it. You would also hear what sounded like monkeys. One time, something threw a rock and hit my friend. I still own that property and the houseboats, but none of my grown kids will even go out there anymore. I don't show the picture to other people anymore. I don't have to prove anything, but I'm sharing with you. I feel as if maybe I am the lucky one to have been in contact with several creatures in this world, and some twice. Yes, it's blurry, and yeah, it's hard to make out, but you can clearly see its reflection in the water as it's drinking. So let me see if I can make this happen without like doxing myself. I've done that 100 times. Not good. It's not good practice. Um, All right. So let's give this a shot, shall we? Yeah, we're test driving on the go, so to speak. So this is the photograph. Whoa, whoa, there we go. I mean, I don't know what I'm looking at, but I don't think it's a river troll. I don't know what it is, but I don't. It almost looks like it has a dog's face. Let's try to make this bigger for everybody. Can we do that? Hmm. Anyway, this was found at phantomsandmonsters.com. I think that, I mean, they're not very active. Like they just don't share a whole lot of stuff over here. But this was just posted a couple of days ago. So, what do you guys think? Like, what are we looking at here? Maybe it's a beaver. Or this could just be pareidolia. You know? I don't know. Anyway, um, real quick, wanted to remind you guys that we do have merch available. If you want to go to fringetoast.com and check that stuff out, we've got shirts, we got mugs, we got all your Fringe Toast needs there. We post over there on fringetoast.com. We post lots of blogs. All of our videos are posted over there. There's a possibility we may start live streaming over there instead of over here at Facebook. We probably get about the same amount of activity. But yeah. Also, while you're over there, if you could go ahead and if you were interested in sharing your spooky stories with us, feel free to fill out our form. It's located on our website. I'm posting a uh, a link in the chat currently right now. But go over there if you've got a story that you want to share with French Toast. There's methods of doing so. You can either fill out the form, or if you're the type of person that would prefer just to write us your experience and us share it with people, then you can do that too by emailing us at fringetoast13@gmail.com. I really do appreciate it. We're going to move right along now. And this is an opportunity. This next story is kind of an opportunity for us to talk about what's referred to as dark tourism, and how that phenomenon in itself actually lends itself to false claims about a location. Not that the Loch Ness monster, and that's who this is what the next story is about, but not that the Loch Ness monster isn't real, but I also feel like it might be exploited by the Scottish. They depend very, very heavily on this, to the tune of $59 million estimated value in their GDP every year. So if Nessie wasn't around, then Scotland would be $59 million less valued. Like $59 million wouldn't go into their economy if Loch Ness monster wasn't at least sighted once a year or so. This year, the first sighting has already taken place. It's April, and They claim that they have video evidence of this. So let's bring this over here. Oh, nope, nope. Not going to do that. Bring it over here. We'll take a look for ourselves. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Sorry. We'll wait for this ad to get out of the way. Good night. I forgot how much I pay for premium, y'all. I'm just being real. It's $10 a month. No commercials through YouTube videos. Oh, let me get this pulled up. $59 million. That's right. That's how much money they make off of Loch Ness Monster being in Scotland. So you gotta wonder. You gotta wonder if that didn't have something to do with why it's so important for the to be constant sightings of this thing. So let's back this up a little bit. We'll start it from the beginning. Now, I tell you, there's something going on right here that I feel like I see something right there. You see what I'm talking about? I feel like I see something there, legitimately. There's something popping out of the water right there. Now, the crazy part is that's not even the section that they're talking about. They're not even talking about this part right here. They're talking about something going on over here. Kind of keep an eye on the sheep. That kind of give you a perspective on where we're at in this video. There you go. There's that thing again. I mean, it's not great. I got to tell you, this is probably the best I've seen in regard to anything close to this story, in my opinion. That's not my browser, that's someone else. But yeah, so it's not just a problem when it comes to Scotland. It's a Point Pleasant, West Virginia, at this point is probably pretty reliant on the Point Pleasant Festival, the Mothman Festival that occurs there. There's other situations. There's other Roswell, New Mexico. They're pretty reliant on the dark tourism, the tourism wrapped around the Roswell incident, and to me, whenever you see this amount of money wrapped around a phenomenon, you have to start looking at this with a little bit more of a critical eye. This video was probably one of the better. That's the best piece of it. It wasn't anything. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this was or was not. Like, I'm not definitively saying there was a Loch Ness. That was Nessie. But I will say that comparatively to black and white photos of what looks like almost a rubber ducky sitting in the water, this is way better. You got to admit that. We got to admit that. I'm not completely closed-minded, but it's going to take way more evidence for me to say absolutely. Maybe I'll get to go to Scotland one day and investigate this for real in person. We'll just have to wait and see. What I mean, at the tune of $59 million, $60 million, I could convince myself to lie about a lot of stuff for $59 million. I'm just being real with you. $59 million. That's a different story. I'd probably, if I'm a shop owner in Scotland around Loch Ness, then I'm a firm believer. Yep, there's something out there. I'll say it on the news. There's something out there. Yep, you bet. I've seen it myself. Probably not a good Scottish accent. I don't want to do that. Not today. I have to be. Sometimes I can do it, but I have to be feeling it. I'm just not in that motion tonight. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. That's really the only stories I've got going on tonight. I would appreciate it if you guys went over to fringetoast.com, check it out. Also, follow us on Twitter at fringe_toast. And you can email us at fringetoast13@gmail.com. Later tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, Jennifer's going to be going live with metaphysical practices over on their YouTube page. Is that correct, Jennifer? I'll give you a second to answer me, but so our metaphysical roundtable is their YouTube channel. Go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and drop a link in the chat so you guys can go subscribe. Also, go like our Facebook page. You're watching us on our Facebook page right now, maybe, or you're watching this on YouTube later. If you're watching this on YouTube later, that's facebook.com/fringetoast13 over there on Facebook. That's about it, folks. You guys, it hasn't been George Norrie, and it ain't Coast to Coast, but I'm Bobby, and I served you some Fringe toast. You guys have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for your time.